Welcome! I've been seeing this trend go around K-pop YouTube and I wanted to take part, so today I'm going to be sharing groups that I will never stan. I'm going to be a bit more negative than I usually try to be in my videos, so that's a warning, I guess. Like always, these are just my opinions, so if you like any of the groups I mention, that's totally fine. That out of the way, enjoy! Starting off with a bang, I have two main reasons why I will never stan Blackpink. The first is the lack of comebacks. This is probably a very common reason that people are put off by Blackpink, but I definitely think it is valid considering that there was almost 2 years between Lovesick Girls and their most recent comeback. Compared to other K-pop groups who tend to release 2 to 3 albums per year, 2 years is obviously a very long time to wait for new music. Even compared to Western artists who may take 2 or even more years between albums, Blackpink's release schedule is still far too infrequent for me, considering those Western artists still release singles semi-frequently and participate in collabs, something Blackpink doesn't do. The second reason I have is Teddy. Now, I don't actually have a problem with the guy himself, it's more his formula. There's a common complaint about Blackpink's music, which is that it all sounds the same, which is mostly due to Teddy Park, their lead producer, because he has a formula that he likes to stick to when making music. In theory, I don't actually have a problem with a group using one producer who has a specific style that they like to stick to. I actually think it can be a good thing, and it can help create a strong sense of musical identity for a group, which helps make them become more recognisable. However, when applying this to Blackpink, I don't think it works in their favour, which is mostly due to their very infrequent releases. Blackpink are a 6-year-old group who only have about 30 songs. And I think it's completely fine for a rookie group who only have 30 songs that all kind of sound the same. It's actually pretty common. For example, there isn't much variation in Fromis9's early discography. But when a group is 6 years into their career and there's been no musical development, that's when I take a problem. So it's due to Blackpink's extremely infrequent release schedule paired with their reliance on Teddy's formula even 6 years into their career that I will never stan them. My main reason for never standing NCT is the number of members. 23 is just far too many for me. I already struggle to get into groups with 10 members, so a group over double the size is just an absolute no-go. This is because the reason I really like groups in K-pop instead of soloists is because I like seeing the members interact. I like seeing their friendships, and I just would not get that with NCT. Because as the members have said themselves, it would be a lie to say all of the members were close. There are definitely members who are very close, but the group as a whole seems like a group of colleagues, and I would be able to get over that pretty quickly if the music was good. But in my opinion, it's not. WayV is the only subunit I like the music of, and they also have their share of songs I don't like. If you genuinely like NCT's music, then I have no problem with that. We all like different music. For example, I would say Lucy have a no-skip discography, but I'm sure people would find songs they don't like by them. However, I do believe that NCT is at the forefront of one of my least favourite trends in K-pop right now, which is the idea that you need to let a song grow on you. That's not how music is meant to be consumed. I can understand not immediately loving a song from the first listen, but on your second or third you realise you really like it. I feel like that's pretty normal. But when you have to force yourself to like a song by constantly listening to it until the problems don't bother you anymore, that isn't. And I'm not saying all NCTzens do this. I'm sure there are definitely a lot of you who genuinely love the type of music they release. And I'm definitely not saying all NCT music is like sticker. I do really like a lot of WayV songs and a couple NCT Dream and some from the other subunits. But because of the overwhelming number of members and their tendency to release music that needs to quote-unquote grow on you, I will never stan NCT. I've never really been the biggest fan of aespa. Firstly, I think the whole AI thing is kinda weird, but not a I'll never stan offence. I also thought it was weird that most of their singles were remakes, but again, not an awful offence. I mean, one of my favourite TXT songs is a remake. What made aespa a group I will never stan is their reliance on lip syncing and their stage presence, or lack thereof. I'm aware aespa is not the only group to rely on lip syncing. It's actually a problem with a lot of 4th gen groups. I mean, I understand the use of it for groups that are doing more acrobatics than dancing in their stages, but for groups that have normal choreos, I don't understand why they can't just sing and dance at the same time. They're idols. It's their job. They should be able to do both. Because if they can't, and I know this sounds harsh, are they not just glorified backup dancers? aespa's over-reliance on lip-syncing is not a reason why they're on this list, since it is such a common issue in K-pop right now. However, when it's paired with their lack of stage presence, especially recently in regards to Giselle, that's when they become a group I'll never stan. I let most groups get away with lip-syncing because they are great performers. Like, it would be nice if they sang live, but it's okay. At least the performance is cool. But I can't say that about aespa. I mean, look at their 2021 Mama performance. It's just the four of them dancing rather unenthusiastically in a line. And I mean, we've all seen the clips of Giselle during their recent girls' stages. I know aespa are talented. They can dance and sing. I love Ning Ning's voice. But I have no clue what's going on with their performances, and I just can't get behind them. This group has the messiest history ever. Now, I'm not the best person to describe it to you, but there are tons of videos on YouTube that go into the messy history of this group. I recommend this video by Red Velvet Sus if you want to know more. But to summarise, before Black Swan rebranded to be Black Swan, they were Rania. The group debuted in April 2011, making them an 11-year-old group. However, the longest someone has been a member was only 5 years. Rania/Black Swan has had a very large amount of lineup changes. There have been a total of about 32 members, I think. If I missed anyone or if I counted wrong, I'm sorry. It's important to note that Black Swan/Rania has never had a rotating member concept. The group just managed to go through 32 members somehow. I'm pretty sure the rebrand to Black Swan was supposed to mean the member lineup would be fixed, but we've seen that that is not the case, considering since the rebrand in 2020, Black Swan have already lost 2 members and gained 2 more. I mean, the history of this group is so messy, I don't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. I mean, I almost backed out of standing Pentagon because their member lineup was too inconsistent for me, with Dawn leaving, Yenin being frequently on hiatus, as well as them entering their enlistment era. So me not getting into a group that has had 32 members with no sign of keeping a fixed lineup anytime soon is not going to happen. The worst part is that their company, Dr. Music, very rarely actually gives information about what happened to the members, or that they've even left, so I just would not be able to stand a group like that. But to really get an idea of how messy this group is, I highly recommend that video by Red Velvet Sus. I feel like this is a common one. I just don't want to stand a group that won't release new music or where the members don't really interact anymore. I still listen to music by disbanded groups and I like quite a few, but they're never going to be my alts. Best example of this is 101. I really like some of their songs and I love Ha Sung-woon, who was a member of 101. Therefore, I find myself watching a lot of their content, but no matter how much I watch, I'll never stand them, because I just can't stand a disbanded group. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope I didn't insult anyone too much, and if you feel like you can turn me into a stan of any of these groups, then please, feel free to try. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.